Good morning, learners. Once again, we want to go through a topic called financial statements. It is the introduction bit of that topic, and by the end of this lesson, we shall have defined various terms that we are going to meet in this topic. The main objective of starting a business is to make profit, and so for you to be able to calculate that profit, proper accounting records should therefore be kept to facilitate calculation of either the profit or loss. Now, profit and losses in a business are determined when you prepare a document called trading profit and loss account. That is the statement that helps us to get profit and losses, while the financial status of a business is shown using using the balance sheet. This one, we met it in a previous topic where we were preparing a balance sheet. Now, for you to be able to prepare that, every business has its own accounting period. Now, when we talk of accounting period for a business, it helps the business to determine its performance at a certain period of time. Some businesses may decide that after every month they will be able to determine their performance. Others will go for a whole year. Others will go 6 months. So most businesses will go for a whole year. Then they determine the performance of their businesses. So in this topic, the word year will mean 12 months. It does not mean from January to December. It will be used to indicate a period of 12 months. For example, some businesses may start determining the performances of their business maybe from January 1st to December 1st. Others will start in June 1st to 31st May the following year. Others will start in April 1st to 31st March the following year. So the word year in this case will mean a 12 months period. Mostly government will use the government year starts in June and ends the following year in June. Now, in this topic, government uses the word financial years to determine the accounting periods. Financial year to determine its accounting period. Let me write that word well, financial. They use the word financial year. Now, we said that the main purpose of every business is to make profit. How do we determine profit and loss? So we start by defining those terms. Defining profit and loss. And for us to determine profit and loss, there are several terms that we will meet, and several adjustments have to be made. But before that, we start by defining what is profit. Profits is the difference between the selling price minus the cost price. For example, in your school, their cakes are usually sold. If you assume that one packet cost the school 100 shillings, 100, to come up with that one packet. Then they sell the same packet, the selling price, they sell it at shillings 150. In this case, the profit is going to be 150 minus 100, so the profit will be shillings, 50 shillings. So profit is there, we get it by subtracting the selling price minus the cost price. Sometimes a business may make a loss. Now, in this case, loss comes in when the cost price exceeds selling price. For example, if the cakes made in the school cost the school, let's say a packet will cost the school 100 shillings. Then after selling, this is the cost price. Then the selling price is 80 shillings. So in this case now we will have a loss of 100 minus 80, which is shillings 20. That is how we get profit and losses. Now, for us to be able to calculate that also, there are adjustments that have to be made. And those adjustments, we're just going to define them, then we are going to use them in our next lesson. Now, some of the adjustments are, we have terms like return inwards. Return inwards, we also call them the sales returns, through the sales returns. These are goods returned by customers into the business. They are returned by customers into the business. And in Form 2, we looked at reasons why goods may be returned. A customer buys something, buys sugar, buy a packet of milk, then they return it. Maybe it could be stale, maybe it could be wrong packing, maybe it could be something that he never asked for. So there are several reasons why goods may be returned. Now, when those goods are returned back into the business by customers, we call them the sales return. And they are subtracted. The sales returns are subtracted from the total sales to be able to get net sales. Meaning, sales minus sales returns will give us the net sales. Sales minus sales returns gives us net sales. So this one, we are going to meet it in our next lesson. Another term that we are going to meet is return outward, which we also call purchases returns. Now, purchases returns are goods returned by the business to suppliers, and they are subtracted from the total purchases to be able to get net purchases, meaning that we have purchases minus purchases returned. They give us the net purchases. So that is another term we are going to find in this topic. The other term that we are going to find in this topic is return carriage inward. Carriage inward. We also call it carriage on purchases. We call it carriage on purchases. And this is cost incurred in transporting goods bought. Cost incurred in transporting the goods bought. Now, what do you mean by this? If you are in a business, you buy maybe goods from the wholesalers, stock from the wholesalers. If you incur any cost to transport those goods to the business, we call that cost carriage inward or carriage on purchases. And usually they are added to the purchases when calculating profit, gross profit or gross loss. Lastly, we have carriage outward. Carriage outward is also called the carriage on sales. It is cost incurred in transporting goods sold to the customers or where the customers require them. So if a business usually transports goods for the customers, we call that cost the carriage outward or carriage on sales. Carriage on sales. Now, this cost is an expense to the business. This is an expense. And so, we do not use it in calculating gross profit or loss. We use it when calculating something else we shall calculate later called net profit or net loss. So, these are some of the terms that we are going to find in this topic, and we are going to use them in our next lesson. Have a good day. Bye-bye.